We are live. Today we have Raj
How's it going,
and
y'all?
you are watching NSTV.
NSTV.
All right, so you pick some tweets for us.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Brian Johnson one first. I want to see what he's up to. Let's see. Tell us more.
Yeah, I think I saved it a couple of days ago, and I think I was like, I'm gonna come back to this one, and I don't think that there's a answer to this per se, because
Okay.
he's really talking about like the underlying philosophies that emerge. I was thinking about like during the times and then after the time of that technological revolution or whatever that inflection point is, right?
Right.
So you can kind of maybe it would be cool if you read it and then you kind of respond from what
Cool.
sparks your
Yeah.
in
I think I
your
read
mind.
this one. Okay.
Okay.
To predict the next dominant societal philosophy, just measure the depth of the technological disruption preceding it. I actually read it, but I didn't exactly understand it.
Mhm.
Every major shift. I know that he's also really into reading history. He was reading
Yeah,
about
exactly.
Magellan. He's really inspired by Magellan. Every major shift breaks something, and then ideology rushes in to patch what was lost. Yes, I remember this. For example, the printing press broke the church's monopoly on truth, and Protestantism patched it. The Industrial Revolution broke guild identity, and Marxism and nationalism patched that. Guild identity and Marxism and nationalism patched that. AI is breaking more than we have words for yet. Nothing out there is big enough to patch what is breaking. We'll need something new.
So what are your first impressions on and where does your mind go?
So the problem is I don't understand any of the examples
Yeah.
because I don't have enough context. So I can see what he means by it broke church's monopoly on truth, but then I don't understand what Protestantism is, and I don't understand guild identity, and I don't understand Marxism and like how that happened, Marxism and nationalism. So, but I kind of get what he's talking about. Like every time it breaks an existing system, and let's say in church's monopoly, what I can figure out from here is that okay, when you outsource the meaning to God.
Yeah.
Earlier, you outsourced the meaning to God, and then when you kind of figured out that okay, everything that they said wasn't true because printing press kind of let surface more ideas that were true and didn't align with God. So people kind of realized that okay, there's another reality that also exists. You don't have to all believe in this one thing that we are kind of preached. So that opens people's minds. So every time what we are doing is it's like a very weird example to give over here would be psychedelics.
Yeah.
What psychedelics basically does for you is that you come into this world as a child, and then between 18 to 22, in those younger years, you kind of a shell is created outside that child.
Yeah.
As you go through world, as you go through reality, and then the goal is to kind of break that and become a child again. And this comes from a lot of places. Like Picasso talks about this, that it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but lifetime to paint like a child.
I see.
So how do we go back to be
Right.
truly yourself? And that means breaking through all the rigidity, all the systems that we have kind of that have made us rigid, and that has kind of let's say not prevented us from expanding our mind, expanding our consciousness, kind of.
Interesting. It's almost like the cycle of inner child, letting loose back into like some sort of shell, becoming more of an adult, and then going back into inner child.
Exactly. By the way, I forgot we didn't do cheers.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Today we got kombucha
and Spritzner sparkling water, lemon flavor.
all right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, to branch off some of the points, I think like I guess I can do two things. One is like the things I thought of when I saw the tweet, and then the things I thought of when you mentioned what you mentioned. So when I saw the tweet, I think my mind went to the printing press, like you also mentioned, did break the ontology of the church, and then they separated it into church and state, right? Almost from a later political philosophy, development, right? So in the U.S., it's like okay, separation of church and state, basically. Although the U.S. is, it's now secular, but it started as a Christian nation with sort of I would call it like a quasi-Protestant work ethic. And so those values are still retained within the American culture. And I think the many parts of the Western culture, probably in the last 50 years. So it's quite interesting that before that, you had this one way of looking at the world, and you accepted that as truth. Fast forward now to kind of branch off into some of the points of like, okay, well, we have this new thing, this AI, which he's alluding to, right? It's breaking more than he's like saying, breaking more than what we have words for
yet. Yeah.
Right? And so I think, and it's all happening in real time, and it's one of the fastest transformations. I don't know. It would be interesting to look at the graphs. I think there's probably graphs out there of like, okay, how long did a printing press take, right? It's one of those graphs of like technology curves, adoption. So it's like, we can maybe pull that up. It'll be fun. So how long did the printing press take to get adopted into society, right? Versus ChatGPT, which is like ChatGPT with, and then search engines, right? Search engines was like, let's call it maybe 10 to 20 years. I may be wrong with exactly the time frame, but if I just look at .com era, right, until like Google being like the leader of search actually was around even during the upper .com era, like the late 90s, right? Like you had Ask Jeeves, you had Yahoo, and then afterwards you had a bunch of other ones, and then like AOL search was a thing, and then afterwards Google was like the 20th search engine or whatever, and that proliferated and democratized, so to speak, the access to searching for any information, and centralized information too, in a sense. Like Wikipedia happened, and all these, YouTube even happened right afterwards, so content was centralized. So now you have AI, which is like basically in 3 years we have hundreds of millions of people using it.
Yeah.
I think it's like what, 800 million,
yeah.
Right? So 800 million is close to like a billion people, almost. So it's like was it 1/6 or almost 20ish, 30ish percent or whatever.
Yes, 20%.
20ish percent of the world population using this technology every day, mostly or regularly enough to source information, and now while living in a post-truth world too, of like what is truth. So I think there's like this dichotomy in a sense of like, okay, well, pursuing truth has always been the case in our in this like modern liberalist order, and now we're not postmodern liberalism, and then post-truth, and maybe AI helps us solve some of these problems of like in the material world for sure, but on the truth-seeking problems it helps us as well, right? Increasing our knowledge base. But on the other side, the cost of creating content with AI is basically zero.
Right.
So that also presents another problem, where there was a cap on how many lies you can tell, right? When you had this before the separation of church and state, the church decided everything, and so you just go with it, and the king decided, right, and the rulers, and most of the people didn't even have an urge to fake things per se, right?
Yeah.
And there's only a limited amount of people, so a limited amount of ideas to even fake.
Yeah.
Now you have unlimited swarms of agents that can have unlimited ideas to fake, and so it's kind of interesting. Maybe it's like I don't know what would happen, but it may actually spawn a new wave of going back to religions, because if there's so much abundance of if you don't know what's true, you're probably going to go back to like a lot of people, at least in this time, will just be like, all right, what is the tried and true method of understanding and having an ontology of the world? Well, religion is the best one, because it has a Lindian effect, right?
Yeah.
Of being around for a long time. It has the cultural infrastructure. It's easy to pick up for most people. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I'm also seeing. It's like, okay, well, maybe religion comes back. We saw that yesterday in our discussion, right, in the graph. And so,
but this is like it's going to be a very interesting religion. It's like today when I think of religion, I am kind of looking at, okay, let me look at every religion. Let me pick up the kind of the best things from all of them, and then follow. Like, I like the middle way about Buddhism.
Yeah.
I like the Upanishads, how they talk about Brahman as Atman. I like anything else. Nothing else comes to my mind right now.
Yeah.
But if you think of philosophers as kind of like the preachers of a religion, then I like Nietzsche, I like Schopenhauer, all these kind of people. So it's like you are creating your own mixed bag of religion. So it's not like the older religion where everybody, like, rules were strict. Now rules are more flexible.
Yeah.
And and then you kind of not, yeah, I don't know. It's like a hybrid religion. Like
Yeah.
my religion, your religion is different
It's
religion.
different, yeah.
Like if you're watching a influencer who
Right.
you really believe in, and you are watching, what do we say? You are like a loyal listener, loyal follower of Balaji, let's say.
Right.
That's a religion.
That is a religion. I mean, techno-optimism
Exactly.
is sort of a quasi-religion. and,
Exactly.
I mean, Silicon Valley, you could argue, is as well in tech, and to your point. So.
Exactly. But was this kind of the graph you were
Yeah,
referring
exactly.
to?
This is the one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a printing press. There's one that has a printing press, and then like everything else, like washing machines and TVs and stuff. So it probably is in there somewhere.
Yeah, so over here we have landline, color TV, computer,
Yeah.
social media usage. Okay, social media is over here, so ChatGPT would just go straight.
Literally up, yeah.
Just like
it's
vertical.
Straight line, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the trend. It seems like.
Yeah.
So everything's
Flush
faster.
toilet took a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Color TV, computer.
Interesting. All right, so let's look at the next one. Here we had Bryan Johnson. Now, next one we have is my latest piece looks at the greatest tycoons of all time, trying to put the 5 biggest people in AI. Elon, Sam, Dario, Demis, and Mark into historical context. Elon comes top, though he's not the powerful tycoon in history by some distance. Okay. Tell us more.
Yeah, I think there's the guy who made this, and I think it's in The Economist as well, like the.
Senior economics writer, San Francisco Bureau.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of like math that they did to make this thing, but I think it's kind of an open discussion. What the one pattern I found that was interesting, maybe we can discuss, is like if you look at the railways, the last time, I think a high percentage of GDP, and we can fact check this as well, which is like what high percent of GDP was used to build out Capex for future growth for a new innovation. And then I think railroads are a good example of that, and probably oil, building out oil infrastructure, wells, etc., and the transportation system. But that, the railways were already there, as you see, like in the 1860s, what is it, 10s?
910.
So railways are here, then steel. You were able to transport steel. You had electricity, so that helped reinforce cities in migration, and then oil as well around the same time, and that helped transport energy across, and then banking and everything as well. Kind of, you see kind of the trend here, like late 1800s. So this was 1860s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Automobiles 1890s. So all this huge infrastructure of the last revolution happened around that time. So that's one trend I saw. It's like this big cluster right here.
Right.
And then after that, 50 years later, after World War II, basically, you had semiconductors, PCs, software, internet, mobile, AI now today. Here, though, it's like you have these big magnates or tycoons. There's only a small amount of them here. And funny enough, I think, who is it? Standard Oil was a big company, and I forget which.
Standard Oil, Andrew Carnegie.
Andrew Carnegie, yeah, exactly.
Right here.
That's right.
Carnegie Street.
So yeah, exactly. So
Rockefeller.
Right. So Standard Oil. There you go. Yeah. So they had such a monopoly. I remember that they had to get broken up, right?
Yeah.
So that hasn't yet happened with any of their big tech yet.
Right.
Which is
There have been
interesting.
attempts, but it hasn't happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's an argument that, well, these guys here are even more powerful.
Right. Okay.
In a sense, this is just kind of one of my patterns and takeaways I saw from this, and we can kind of discuss it and argue against it or for it.
Interesting. So your argument is that at that time, they, like over here for the steel magnates, the oil magnates became so big that the government intervened to break their companies up.
Yeah.
Those attempts have happened today with first Microsoft.
Yeah.
Did it happen with Meta, Facebook? No,
I think
I'm not
kinda,
sure. But
not
mainly
really.
Meta and Google.
Yeah.
With Google, there was a massive discussion
for
with Google Chrome.
Yeah.
And Perplexity was even in a race to actually purchase Google Chrome. It has definitely not happened with Elon. Because it's going to be crazy. Like, who's going to run an Elon company without Elon?
And it's in different industries. So
Right.
Amazon's the other interesting one. It's like, well, Amazon owns basically a ton of
I
distribution.
think breaking Amazon,
But-
specifically breaking AWS
Correct.
from Amazon was like a big conversation.
Right. But I think it maybe, let's see, what is different about from that time to now? Well, now it's like, you know, the democracy that we live in today is very different than the democracy of that time.
Right.
Now we have lobbying has been industrialized, right? Basically, there's an entire industry for lobbying, and so a lot of these tech companies can lobby to get their corporate interests, basically, reflected into what they want in the laws and the way the world works. And I think arguably, if in the U.S. there's like this funny thing of like, okay, well, if the president goes on a vacation for a couple months, the country will just run itself. Right?
Interesting.
So that's how entrenched the corporate interests are, for better or worse. I think, on one side you have profit maximization, like to what end? There is no end to profit maximization. It's an optimization problem that never ends, as long as the capital is there. On the other side, it's like you have like these companies that have so much power in other ways of our lives too. They own our data. They can influence us psychologically every single day from social media, etc. Right? They own the things that we buy, we eat, and everything as well, right? Which is not a bad thing per se. I think it's a good thing, but there's more power. There's one argument to be made, which is like, okay, well, there's more power now, and with AI, if there's two winners of the AI race, and then maybe some Chinese counterparts, it turns into then basically a multipolar, whatever's happening in the geopolitics basically gets reflected in AI as well, in a sense.
Exactly.
Because AI has to intertwine into the geopolitics for its next phase. With Anthropic being used in the U.S. military, and then OpenAI having a board member from I think CIA or NSA, I forget. I think it was CIA.
I think I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically you have this government fusion, and that's to maybe the earlier point about Palantir's manifesto, right? It's like, so we're entering this new phase where now it's even more powerful. Like tech has more power on the government because it's now a new thing to use for power, basically.
Right.
Power projection.
Right.
Around the world. So maybe these people are now even more entrenched. I think like Elon Musk is basically a nation state at this point.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, Elon is going for it, right? Like Starbase. Starbase is a network state by definition, and Balaji is like, okay, you are kind of like you are exactly building with the principles that I talk about. But this is very interesting. It's going to be really hard to. It's very hard to break something when it's not a commodity. Yeah. Oil is a commodity. Oil kind of became a commodity. It became so big that it was easy that, okay, one person is kind of, it's like one person owning too much land. Right. People are like, no, give me a piece of it, and I want to own it. The problem is with Elon companies, even if you break it, nobody knows how to run it. Yeah. So nobody's asking for it. Nobody's capable of actually going in and be like, no, Elon, I'm going to run SpaceX. Yeah. So you are owning too much of the space. Right. It's like, hey, it's a fair competition. Go and build yours. That's right. If your product is good, you will win. So I think that's also a very interesting conversation right now, that earlier these were commodity, highly commoditized products. Steel. We're looking at steel. Railways, just like laying out railways. So who owns the labor, who owns the contracts, who owns the land. Right. Then it's oil, who owns the land where you will dig, who owns the machines that will dig. Then banking again. Banking is interesting. I think banking is also like you kind of want couple key players, so that because again, like there are massive advantages to scale. Correct. And there are massive advantages to couple players figuring out the entire system, making everything efficient, so people can bank across countries, across states, across cities. That's right. Yeah, I mean, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan's been around for like more than 100 years, right? So, right. I think more than 100. Yeah, maybe in 200. 200 something. Yeah, I don't know exactly the number, but yeah, it's a legacy bank, and I think certain things, like, then to your point, it's like utilities, right? Like utilities are there for a reason. They're for societal benefit, so that everyone benefits, right? Like utilities are not supposed to make as much money as everything else. They are supposed to be commodities. Yeah. So I think maybe on the AI side, we're already seeing commoditization. Yeah. From the market, like market is forcing commoditization. Yeah. Because of the high competition. So now, the new railways, Capex, which is a huge percent of GDP. I think
some of the articles, I think from Goldman Sachs, they were like predicting a 1 trillion in capex by 2030, or some numbers like that, right? I think we're somewhere around, and you can fact check this as well. It's like 300 to 500 billion, somewhere around there, in committed capex.
Okay.
For near term.
Specifically for
just building out the data centers for the next couple of years.
Okay. I think you said 300 to 500 billion.
Committed, yeah.
Committed. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think
like
OpenAI itself was just going for 1.4 trillion.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if that's like committed
yet.
Yeah. I think it's more like we will plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the numbers are crazy, and
right.
I think percent of GDP. What is GDP in the U.S.? I think 20 something trillion, something like that.
Okay.
Right. Like if you don't consider what is it? PPP.
PPP, purchasing power parity.
Yeah. If you don't consider that, then yeah, it's probably like what, if it's 1 trillion at the optimistic case, at least, divided by what? Let's just say 20.
This one we can.
So 5%.
Quick check.
We can, yeah,
all
exactly.
Right, let's see.
So
what's the GDP of USA?
And then we can compare it to maybe like what's the percent of GDP for data center capex to railway capex.
Okay. All right, go.
Okay, it's just answering. So,
but I think you can at least get in the text box.
Okay.
What's the number? 32.38 trillion as of 2026.
32. Okay, so
nominal GDP. So again, different calculation over here.
Right.
Is there another number over here? No, we don't have another number. Okay, what was your question?
Compare the percentage of GDP for railway capex a long time ago, and then the data center capex that's happening today.
Let's see. Very interesting. So your guess would be higher or lower?
Yeah, I think so. If we just do 1 divided by 30, it's like what, 2.5? Like what is it, percentage wise? 3-ish %, something like that. Like
so
if
you were saying
1 trillion planned in data center capex,
right,
in dollars divided by the 32 trillion, sorry, total nominal GDP for the U.S. Right. So 1 divided by, let's just call it 1 divided by 30.
Right.
Somewhere around 2 to 3% of GDP, something like that.
Okay.
And I think railways it surged to around 7% of GDP at its peak.
7% of GDP, and data center is number is
1.2 today.
Projected to account for about 1.2. Okay.
Yeah, so 2% is there.
1.2%. And the number that we are looking at is, what's the number we are looking at for data center capex? No number?
It didn't tell you. Yeah, maybe we can just ask it, like, what's the total, dollars? What is the total planned capex in today's U.S. dollars, and then compare that to the U.S. dollars in the railway capex boom? Yeah, so it's big chunk of GDP, and I guess at that time, when the railway boom was happening, U.S. GDP was way smaller. U.S. was a smaller country. Maybe it could be, you can argue it should be a global comparison, but and the U.S. economy is also quite diverse now. So
we're looking at least 700 to 800 billion.
Yeah,
over here.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Even for today's money.
It's a lot, but the problem is, like, now we have lost the valuation. Valuation has stopped making sense.
Right.
So now it's just like everybody throwing their numbers out there. Exactly.
So we're saying with a high demand scenario, like 8 trillion, 7.9 trillion, according to McKinsey. Companies worldwide spent $1 trillion on data centers in 2025. That's interesting.
Wait, already spent 1 trillion?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Does that mean like plans? Because you can plan for it, and that gets cited as spent through commitments, and the funny accounting that OpenAI, NVIDIA, and everyone has.
Right. So over here it says that companies worldwide spend nearly 1 trillion on data centers in 2025, but then it says like, okay, another conservative approach is 1.7 trillion by 2030. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think, so let's just look at it. Says 5 to 7 trillion?
Yes.
Cumulative, 25 to 2030 number.
With the US share probably around
60-70%
of that. And $700 to $800 billion today's dollars. That is railway.
So basically, they're almost the same in terms of total value of the dollars, but different GDP percentage.
Right. Different GDP percentage makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
yes, at that time this was the big business.
Mm-hmm.
This was a big business. There's agriculture, there's construction, there is banking, but that was the big business. Okay, all right. So this was interesting. This is where like when the numbers stop making sense, it's hard to just say what are we talking about over here. But yeah, again, like we're looking at abundance, building an AI capital allocator. So
I saw that too. Yeah.
Apoorva Mehta, who was ex-Instacart, right? Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
So he was the CEO of Instacart. He has launched, or he has basically created a swarm of AI agents that are going out and doing all the hedge fund trades for himself. AI changes the equation entirely. Agents can absorb more information, connect more dots. We're a small team of former quant researchers, AI researchers, engineers, investors based in Palo Alto, and several times a day, debate constantly, ship relentlessly. Okay. And the problems they're working on is long-running agents, sourcing alternate data sets, extremely large amounts of data while staying within context limits, token efficiency. Okay, interesting. I thought this was the one where he talks about what they are doing. But basically, yes. The difference between an average and exceptional allocators is enormous, but that edge is logged inside individual minds. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of months, I've also been doing a bunch of quant research myself. I've been studying macro for like the last 5-ish years.
Okay.
On the side, just for fun, right? I wouldn't call myself a professional,
Right.
I think everyone at this point does some sort of investing or trading on the side, and for me, I've been doing it intellectually, out of intellectual curiosity, right? And I've basically been using Codex, so leaning more towards quant research-driven process and allocation. Codex and Claude and all these tools are like a godsend for this. This is like, it's like the vibe coding equivalent of making your own website and, running agents for sales, biz dev, all this stuff, right? Operations. And now, quant is no different. It's all just knowledge work at the end of the day. These quants at, Jane Street, Citadel, etc., Millennium, Bridgewater, they're all basically coders. Many of them. Mathematicians, yeah, exactly. And then
they're just hiring people who are really quick and sharp with calculations.
That's right.
That's a computer.
That's a computer, exactly. And it's the human version of that many years ago.
Yeah.
And now these agents are so good. Codex, the latest 5.5 on X high, like the best model that they have today, for coding and things, like it's basically, it's good enough for most quant stuff.
So what do we prompt? What do we say to Codex?
Make you $1 million.
Make you $1 million. Make no mistakes.
Yeah, make no mistakes.
Got
exactly. That's the one.
And what is it? So what exactly is Codex doing then? Codex is trying to come up with strategies. What is it doing?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think a lot of it has the same architectural user problem that, like, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to make you $1 million.
Right. Right.
You still have to do the backtesting. You still have to run the correlation analysis. You got to run through the statistical backtesting as well. Like, is this how much does this happen? Like, et cetera, right? And the thing is, you still have to operationalize that too, that strategy. But it condenses maybe having a team of people do it, just like you would do it with a quant fund, a hedge fund, into like you. Being able to do it. So if you have an idea, it's an amazing tool to have nowadays. Like, you don't necessarily need to go back. You're in the old world, it would have to be, you would write a Python script to scrape data. You would then write another script to then process that data, and then look at the Sharpe ratio, etc. Like, there's a bunch of grunt work. Now you don't need to do that. You literally can just do a master prompt in Codex and be like, here's exactly all the stuff I want. As long as it's within context, it's able to have enough, because it's long running now, which is a very big thing on the job criteria here for abundance. That it can do a long running session over a couple hours even, and then as you collect more data, as you get more insights, if you have memory system as well as part of it, it becomes smarter, just like a human would, and builds, I would call it, intuition at some point, And so I see that why Abundance has launched. I think this is not the first experiment. There's probably, the millenniums of the world, citadels of the world are already doing this.
Yeah.
And, they've been doing it for a while.
Totally, yeah.
This is their bread and butter. I mean, like, what was the net profit I saw was like 30 billion. Was it for Jane Street or someone? I forget. Like $30 billion or something. I forget exactly if it was Jane Street or Citadel. I know Citadel made it like 30 billion, I think 2 years ago or 1 year ago. In 2022 or something like that.
This is like, once you have all this power, it's like, what is stopping you to go 10x, 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 10x?
I mean, yeah. At that point, it's basically like the only way you won't get to 10x is like if, because everyone else has that same tool.
Right, exactly.
So
what profit did Jane Street make 2025? Interesting. And okay. And what kind of data sources do you need over here when you are running something on Codex? When you are running this quant thing, let's say I go and do this right now.
Right.
How do I actually prompt this thing?
Yeah, I think let's just think a simple strategy like a swing trading strategy or equity screening strategy. You can use a lot of free stuff now. Y Finance API is free. Just basically scrapes Yahoo Finance. You can get the price data. And then once you get the price action data, you can be like, all right, just make a bot that low RSI when RSI is 20, which is like a relative strength indicator. Buy, sell when RSI 80, sell. So it's just like buying low and selling high.
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be times when that's not always the case. Like the price makes a lower high or higher high, and you have to adjust, figuring out when you want to take profit.
Yeah.
Those are just the simple bots. Then people are doing polymarket as well, which I'm not an expert at all in that. I've just been watching from the sidelines, like trying to understand a little bit more. But on the equity markets, like the data sets available in the equity markets is like huge. I mean, they're not basically free. You can go on GitHub. A lot of people just open source, data sets. It's like I just buy or fork or clone the open source data sets and then try to do phase 1 research and backtest. The other data sets are a little bit more institutional. Like if you're looking at other markets, like besides US, you kind of maybe have to go search for other providers. But long story short, the data's already been out there for years. The tooling hadn't caught up yet to get to the point. So to answer your question about the prompts, like you can even go to GPT and say like, make me a simple strategy to screen equities when there's a death cross of like I think the 200 MA the moving average when it's below I think it's the 50 day moving average is below the 200. I may be mixing those two up as I'm talking, but it's a tried and true strategy.
Right.
Basically, it just means like if the stock or the asset it's starting to slow down in momentum, and its average now is below the average it used to have in the last 200 days or something. Like the 50-day average is getting lower, and so once things slow down, and I think I may have misstated that somehow, but it's basically slowing down, and then you can say I want to sell at that time. So people have done this already where they buy like QQQ or like the levered version of it, and they make a bot, and then they just buy it when it's starting to pick up momentum, and then they sell it when it's losing momentum over months.
Yeah.
And they just have it's a bot.
Interesting.
But they backtested that.
And it seems like the fact that, okay, by the way, 39.6 billion, generated record 39.6 billion net trading revenue in 2025 according to multiple sources, and so Citadel is 12.2, and the firm roughly 3,500 employees. Okay, got it. Interesting. But it seems like if people are starting to open source their stuff, this means that there's no more alpha.
Yeah.
This means that the market is
compression
becoming efficient.
Exactly. So if you look at any market, like it always converges on when you have multiple compression, which happens in, let's say it's happening in SaaS, right? As a good example recently, multiple compression. Like SaaS used to be 10x, right, of revenue, right, as an example. And on the M&A markets, now it's like 1 to 6x maybe.
Hmm.
Like it used to be 6x was like the median, I think, in 2022, and that was like the top.
Yeah.
Since then, it's just like gone down. Now
Yeah.
you're talking about 1 to 3x if you're like a mid-market company, a SaaS company.
Exactly.
So I know some founders who like bootstrapped a company for from 2015 to 2022, 23, and they sold at the top because they kind of probably knew. GPT's out. Well, it's not. It's a matter of like time, right?
If you can see that, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you raise today as a SaaS company, I mean, I'm quite bearish personally on SaaS, because I'm also in deep tech. So I think I'm a little biased that the physical world is going to be more important now, and I think the markets reflect that too, right? Yeah. But long story short, I think the edge, yes, I agree with. The edge is going down for traditional way of looking at markets. So that means like all the indicators that are in the textbooks, all the indicators that everyone uses, there's only so many indicators and so many ways of analyzing data that's already been cooked into the industry. So the question is, what is outside of that? What's like non-linear or uncorrelated?
And this is the reason we are seeing the rise in polymarket bots and culture bots, because that is a little bit newer space.
Correct.
And more newer derivatives of maybe the same information but new derivatives. So now the plumbing in the infrastructure is people are trying to figure that out. But again, soon that is compressing.
Exactly.
And what was I thinking about? I was thinking of something. Yes, so recently, this is very interesting what he said, because it's like Paul Graham, I just read a tweet where he's like, 10 years ago when I was investing in Boom, we were having a really hard time convincing. Boom is the supersonic airplane company, and he's like, when we were trying to raise money for Boom, we were having a really hard time. Nobody wanted to give us money, and now slowly I'm getting unsolicited requests to purchase shares of Boom, because not only Boom has proved obviously as a business that they can keep going and they can build in this very difficult industry, this difficult technology, but also these kind of tech is where kind of the alpha is now. Like this is the place now. Like are you investing in rockets? Are you investing in space? Are you investing in some crazy ideas?
Exactly. No, 100%. I think I think yesterday I mentioned that like the company Hive that I worked with to analyze the data, the secondaries for deep tech, for hardware, if you actually look up even today, right now, like a lot of the secondaries, including SpaceX and space companies, and Cerebras as a semiconductor company, they've outperformed the broader SaaS basket. Yeah. So, that trade has been there since like 2023, and I think maybe we're topping off, but I think still, like if you think about all the stocks that are popping, SanDisk went up 30x. Memory company.
Yes.
So memory, that's a physical thing.
DRAMs.
DRAMs, yeah. So like, all these things are now popping. Like it's insane, like the charts, right? They just like go up. It's like crypto all over again, right? And so even the crypto investors are like, well, I think I should go to equties now.
Yeah. So I think Palmer Luckey had a very interesting interview. He was like 2 to 3 years ago, we kind of messed up the market where young founders were easily able to raise a lot of money to make these crypto NFT stuff. And that kind of messed up a generation of young founders. Right. And now slowly, when all that money has gone, where are they focusing on? They're focusing on energy, infrastructure, and defense.
That's right.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, the defense thing is really interesting with the El Segundo, right, in California. Yes. Like, you have like an entire new generation of like 20-year-olds, young people, starting these companies that are like really difficult companies. And now they're getting, you see the traction, you see the milestones being achieved, the continuous raising of venture. Yeah. So it's like that same thing that happened in mobile. Yeah. Mobile apps, like in the 2010s, right, in the sharing economy. Yeah. That's happening in defense, which is like amazing to see. And defense is just one part of deep tech, but like, you're starting to see it, like, things like power electronics. So like NVIDIA the other day, this week, was like, we need to go into like 800 voltage power transformers for their data centers. So it's changing the small standard because they need a lot more energy now at that voltage to power the new GPUs they're going to release. Okay. So that means we had to now have new hardware to power these things and hook them up into the electricity that you're getting. Right. So basically, you're gonna have a lot of those new things like that we didn't really think about. Like, you don't think about how electricity actually comes from the utility plant here. Yeah. There's a bunch of other hardware that needs to work all the time. Right. So that's gonna be the next sort of it's kind of going back into what venture capital used to be in the 80s and 90s with microelectronics. So Silicon Valley started like Fairchild Semiconductor, Intel, all those people used to they came from like a semiconductor background, And it was during a time of the Cold War.
Hmm.
So we had to make like chips, put them in missiles and rockets and stuff like that, right? And that defense money subsidized that. And then that turned into fiber optics eventually, you know, networking hardware, Cisco, etc., right? And then of course software. So that was the VC trade to make the last 30 years. I think it's topped off, as we clearly know, from SaaS stocks, right?
Totally.
And of course, not every SaaS stock is going to die, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not the next growth story, basically,
Yeah.
everyone's thinking about. Now it's like, okay, we solved that. AI is already solving SaaS, you know. What's the next thing? Well, it's actually physical world, because
Right.
we've not touched it. We haven't touched it in a long time.
Right.
So, but I think on going back to this, these agents, I see it now. I mean, it's democratizing retail access to, in a sense, right? If you have access to these Codex like tools or Claude, you can screen, and there's other NS members here that I riff off ideas with, because they're also in the mode of using Claude to for financial tasks. So it's like everyone can be a mini hedge fund now.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to have institutional capital.
Imagine everybody over here running a hedge fund.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody. Every single
You get a hedge
person.
fund. You get a hedge fund, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's the best thing to do, like when you're remote.
Yeah, it is. This is the ultimate remote job.
Ultimate remote job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's look at this one. Since
Yeah.
we're talking hardware, I thought this was really
If you want to create something truly generational, you have
my
to go all
gosh,
in.
literally
My name
saw
is
that.
Michelle Lee, and I'm the founder and CEO of Netra. Our number one priority is
funny.
to work with our customers to help them with their science. Instead of saying, let's open a lab, we thought to ourselves, why couldn't we open the largest lab? A new paradigm is emerging. Physical AI, this idea that you can actually teach robots. You can teach them almost the same way that humans learn. At Measure Lab 1, our robot can work 24/7 around the clock. All the parameters, all the nuances, all this artisanal nature of science logged and captured, so our AI scientists can also learn from it and use that data to improve the science going forward. This is not a prototype. This is something real. We're already running in production with biopharma companies like Genentech. And now we're scaling it. 38,000 square feet, 100 robots running 24/7, built to scale scientific breakthrough right here in the United States. This is just the beginning. This is Measure Lab 1.
Yeah.
This is it, right?
This is it.
This is what we want.
This is 100%.
Autonomous labs. I think NVIDIA is also working with Eli Lilly.
Yeah.
And just autonomous labs. It's like, hey, just robots. They run an experiment.
Yep.
And then they look at the results. They automatically evaluate what needs to be changed, and then they do it
Right.
all over again. And they just keep going.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. Like, this is what you want, like, in terms of, if AI is so powerful, you just need to provide AI a loop.
Yes.
You need to provide AI a loop where what is the thing in the real world that interacts with,
Right.
and then just keep going in the loop. That
That's
okay,
right.
start something, do something in the real world, get some sort of result, and then go back, evaluate. Then
Right.
again, real world, go back, evaluate. So that's the. In what ways can you put AI into that loop? So number one is obviously stock and hedge fund, like
Yeah.
everything automated. That, hey, every single day you have the, what do we say, oracles for all the data flowing in, streaming in,
Right.
and then you can constantly keep checking that, okay, this is what I thought, this is the price.
Exactly.
Did it work? Did it not? Again, go back.
That's
and
right.
then this is like more on the biology perspective. I don't know. No, I think they can. It would be very interesting to see like what kind of things are actually, what kind of products could be actually built in such a way where you're constantly just testing things out. Then you have something like I don't know if you've seen the coffee shops.
Oh yeah.
The vending machines. The vending machines
yeah.
are pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
I think the company is literally called Vending Labs.
Yeah.
And they started this in Anthropic's office itself, where they just put a vending lab, and they are like a vending machine, and they're like, okay, run this vending machine. There
Yeah.
are other products over here. Automatically order whatever you refill, order,
Right.
let the customer, whatever, sell to customer. I think it was very interesting. They kind of like, just to promote the products, the bot, obviously I think they were using Claude.
Yep.
They started some sort of discount offer, and then people were kind of guilt tripping it to get free stuff.
Right.
And that was very interesting to see. So I think this is it. Like, how can you put AI in a loop where it interacts with reality, goes back,
Yeah.
and evaluates its own decision?
100%. I think I mean that's what humans do.
Yeah.
We kind of think in that, or we go through that same loop basically, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, don't touch the fire. I put my hand on the fire. Okay, got burned. You know?
Yes.
That's like where it starts, and then we abstract that to everything, like
Hmm.
markets too, right? It's like humans, stock pickers, like Buffett, right? For a reason, and I mean he's like the extreme end of the spectrum, right? But you have like an entire generation of equity analysts trained on the way markets should behave, right? With all the research and textbooks and everything, right? And that was based on past data and ways of looking at companies, right? In the current era, maybe you have to adapt a little bit. And I think for humans, it takes a little bit of time to adapt, right? You go through your like emotional journey of like, wow, this is stupid. Like, why is this stock going up? It shouldn't, you know. It's whatever PE multiple is too high, you know. But why, you know, you then ask us like, okay, well, what are we missing in the valuation of this stock? Oh, it's this. It's because the market timing, and let's just take SanDisk. It went up 30x in a year. So the market re-rated it to a big market cap company in a short time because of the memory glut, I would say. So it's like if you're running a bunch of huge models and creating a ton of data, you're gonna need this DRAM and lots of it. And there's only a few companies that do that. And within the this Capex boom for data centers we're talking about, and then the amount of data that's exponentially being created, we don't even have enough memory.
This is so interesting. So, I have a random idea right now.
Yeah.
I feel like you see that screen over there which shows Luma events.
Yeah.
What if we have an AI agent running that screen and you need some sort of interaction with reality, right? So it could be like, okay, just randomly pick, because it's basically streaming the daily Luma events.
Yeah.
So it's like every day, pick an event and also show its QR code. And then your success basically depends on how many people actually scan the QR code to sign up for that event. And that based on that, the agent can keep going back and helping improve the design, helping improve the marketing of that event, and how it interacts with reality, how it gets its result, its response, its feedback from reality is basically the QR code scans.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. It's basically, it's like a automated ads agent or marketing agent.
Exactly.
In real life.
Exactly.
For real product.
Yeah, it's like, exactly. It's like your automated agent going and running your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
You're constantly seeing that, okay, with every strategy, every marketing, every text change, every design change, how many people are actually signing up?
Right.
What's the top of the funnel?
That'll be a fun experiment. Let's do a hackathon here.
Let's do it. How we want to take over that screen?
Yeah, right.
We're going to take over that screen. Okay. Any other thoughts about the autonomous? Actually, specifically this one.
Oh yeah. So I know this company.
Netra.
Yeah. So going back to my grad school years, like I had to do this all by hand, right? Like mixing chemicals and making mixtures of things, right? Don't miss those days at all.
Yes.
At that time, I was like, I wish AI could have, if AI can grow fast enough for me to just have a robot to outsource my stuff to, right? And it's basically what we have with agents. Like it's like your whole team, right? So this is literally, I think we're gonna invent a lot of brand new things. On the VC side, I've had a bunch of VC theses about like how this could work, and I think chemicals is another adjacent play here. Biotech makes more sense here to start because the turnaround time for new types of drugs, even peptides and other things, right? It's a screening problem on the data side, so you need to have a bunch of combinations and simulate those in the cloud, and then there's a funnel of like, okay, these are the ones that meet the criteria, and then you synthesize them in real life, right? That's been going on for decades in biotech, and it makes sense to do that because it's faster time to market, and if the drug pops off, you're talking about $1 billion. So venture scale outcomes. Yeah. Right. Here, Ginkgo Bioworks is another company. It's now public. They've been working on this as well. So they're not, I would call them like another competitor in this automated labs market.
Yeah.
What they've done as well is, and a lot of other companies in China are doing this too. So automated labs.
No, totally. When I look at this, I'm like, imagine you build this in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Imagine what China has done already.
There's a company, we didn't end up working with them. This was for a previous company I worked with, and they made a API. Basically, they have an entire AI model, and it's served through the API, and it allows you to predict the exact reaction to make this chemical. Or let's just call it drugs at the time, because that was their main customer. It was biotech. And they already gotten like the labs of like Pfizer, Merck, etc. in China on board. So they were their main customers, and they were just trying to expand to the U.S. I won't mention the company's name, but the thing that surprised me, and this is back in like 2024, right? Almost like a year, 2 years ago, is what they told me is like, okay, this is how we train our models. We actually have an army of robotics and people at the time. So they have like hundreds of PhDs in China, training the models with this is right, this is wrong, this is the best case. Because chemistry also is an art.
Totally.
And so, but they're trying to help digitize it.
Yeah. Experimentation is basically just remixing.
Exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if today that same model can just do like insane amount of stuff, right? One-shot prediction of like, oh, here's the chemicals now, and then you hook it up to the robotics that they already had, and it's done. So like, if you think about like, do you need to take 10 years to get to the market for drugs? Well, you know, a really cool example is like, well, the mRNA vaccine only took 2 days to simulate, from what I read. And we can fact check that too. It'll be fun. Okay. But basically, two days to make, like in terms of the simulations, right? The data simulations. For the spike protein, for the COVID vaccine, and then it took a year to scale into the supply chain, and then buy the ingredients, get enough of them, trial it out, all the other steps that you need. So really, the simulation is not that crazy. It's mainly the manufacturing part and scaling part, and even the manufacturing it takes a long time. So. Yeah, so
2 days.
Yeah, so 2 days, right?
So designed its vaccine sequence in about 2 days after the genome was published, moved at a similar pace. Okay, so sequence design was days. Preclinical trials were 1 to 2 months. Phase 1, 1 to 3 months. Phase 2, 2 to 3 months. Phase 3, 4 to 6. Manufacturing runs in parallel, not sequentially. Outside a pandemic emergency, the same process typically takes 5 to 7 years because trials run sequentially rather than overlapped.
Right. So,
yeah, that does make sense. Yeah. That does make sense. What you are truly looking for is the effect in humans.
Yeah.
You can design it because you know how to design it. Yeah.
Yep. And LLMs are basically, you can call them humans, right?
That's true.
With how smart they are now, like today, like as of this day. So, this is really cool to see, of course, in America and all that, and in San Francisco. But I think this can be done now by any company.
Exactly. We need this over here.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, the robots they're using, these robots are already, like, they look exactly like the cafe robots.
The
Robo Coffee, whatever.
I know what you're talking about.
Cafes.
At the SF airport.
Exactly. Exactly, SF airport. By the way, new update. First time seeing a W logo change. I see they were inspired by Apple's liquid glass design. A total 180 from the minimalism that's ruled the world for the last decade. Hope other brands add some soul to their logos too. It's very interesting because I don't know if you saw they had a new CEO.
Xbox.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Asha Sharma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And right over here, Asha is right over here.
Oh, nice. Third comment.
Exactly.
Yeah, the notifications on. Yeah.
Yeah. And people were really like criticizing because she is not a gamer.
Yeah.
She's not a gamer. She doesn't even come from a gamer archetype, and she was just an executive at Microsoft who was like placed in this position, in this role.
Right.
So people were actually not positive about where this is going to go. But I think a couple changes she has made recently. One, they have dropped the price of I don't know anything on gaming, but they have dropped the price of Xbox Game Pass by like $6-7, and then this logo change. And now people are like, okay, I think she gets it.
Yeah.
I think she gets it. So it's very interesting. It's like she's an executive, which means that Microsoft right now needs operators.
Right.
Microsoft right now needs really strong operators. So it's like, this is an operator. You just throw this operator into this one chaos, which is a business. They quickly absorb and they know what's right to do for the business. So
that's right.
It's interesting. It's like sometimes you have the best thing to do for business is actually do right by the customer.
Yeah. So
it's actually weird when we think that, the best businessmen just care about making profit maximization, not actually about growing the business. The best businessman actually does both of them. They make the customers happy, they make the investors happy. They take care of the business side, they take care of the art side. The soul and the business, both of them together. So it's very interesting.
It is, yeah. I mean, I haven't gamed in a while, like since like probably high school, or maybe undergrad, playing FIFA. But even then, like, it's been a while. But Xbox, I have a lot of fond memories of Xbox, and it was a PS5. I guess I don't know what PS we were on. I'm so
maybe PS13.
Detached
I think
from all
the last time I heard is actually let's
look it up.
Fact check. Fact check.
But the design aesthetic change is quite interesting. It's like a total 180 almost, right? Like flat minimalism to the Apple liquid glass. And I think Microsoft has been, on the design side, it's been going towards the liquid glass as well, right? like Microsoft Word and
Yes.
everything. Like all their videos are like these liquid glass
Yes.
panes of like being flexible. But it's like, it
Yes.
feels kind of cool and comforting.
This
almost. Like, I
reminds
don't
me
know.
that they kind of introduced the liquid thing.
Yeah,
The glass thing, let's say.
before Apple actually put it onto their
Yes.
iOS updates, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I guess it makes sense. And I mean, to the point about Asha, she's super smart and experienced from
Yeah.
what I saw, right? Like
Yeah.
many months ago when she signed on. So maybe this is Microsoft's new phase of like, the Tim Cook phase. It's not innovation led per se, because the executives don't have to be innovative themselves, but the teams underlying them are already innovative, and so they just need to find those people, and then they just need to ruthlessly execute, basically, like you said, right? They need operators. And I think there's an argument to be made about Microsoft's UI UX over the last decade. It got better, I would say. The UI definitely feels nice. I mean, I don't really care too much about it because it's simple products. Like I just use the Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, and even then I don't use it that much anymore.
Yeah.
Because you can just vibe some slides nowadays, So.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I do see like why they would do it today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be at this point. The customer of your own product, maybe is it counterfactual, maybe in today's business world.
It's a big counterfactual because we still have to see.
Yeah.
It's been just 1 or 2 months, I think.
That's
2
right.
months, but a lot of historical memes and lores that happen in an industry, you can't just learn them.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't know. It's an emotion.
That's right.
And if you weren't part of that emotion, it's hard to recreate that again.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, that's the most popular critique probably, right?
Yeah.
I would assume, like,
Yeah.
of like, if you are a gamer, it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know, it's like, Nike being, the CEO of Nike being some, like, tech nerd who never played sports,
Yeah.
right? Like, has no interest in sports, just money.
Yeah.
I think that's more like I would call it an MBA-ification.
Yeah.
It's like at that point you need someone who resonates with the product a little bit, or at least was there at the company.
You need history, yeah.
You need history, yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, we'll see. All right.
Very
To
interesting.
your point.
All right. Next one. Let's see. Andre Karpati. I like blockchain tech quite a bit because it extends open source to open source plus state. A genuine exciting innovation in computing paradigms. I'm just sad and struggle to get over it coming packaged with so much brain dead BS. Get rich quicks, pumps, dumps, scams, spams, memes. Ew. And then what I really like is this. Read it.
Oh, he's saying like he responded to his own post, huh?
Yeah.
It's like we dug up a powerful alien artifact and society is humping it while taking selfies. And this is like what, June 2021?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a while ago. That's like what is it? Throwback Thursday type of
Yes.
post.
That's like 5 years ago. It's like we
Yeah.
dug up a powerful alien artifact and society is humping it while taking selfies.
Well, since then, I mean, what is it? Tesla self-driving, what is it?
Everything.
Everything.
It's
It's
ChatGPT.
Like,
That's-
it's just like
that's
the
pre-ChatGPT.
world is a totally different world, right?
Actually, I'm
We-
curious.
We called it pre-pandemic. Now it's like pre-GPT.
Yeah, yeah. What is Andre Karpati's latest views on blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, blockchain. I mean, kept up with. Yeah, I mean, I'm not professionally in crypto, but I of course kept up with crypto for a while. And the first time I learned about Bitcoin was 2015, when I didn't know anything. I had zero knowledge about finance and macro or anything. And I just started in grad school and I didn't have any money either. But I was captivated by the promise. I think the idealism around it. It could be a peer-to-peer currency, that's not government backed. And I think it was like it always pulls at some libertarian thread most people have, which is like, screw the government. I don't want the government deciding my life, right? Like, especially for like high agency type people, right?
Yeah.
I think like the sovereign types. And so it came from that, ethos. And over time, I think we were talking about it with some other NSers here, like in the morning, it's like any idealistic movement always gets co-opted somehow
Yeah.
through the lens of money and power, because it has to. Because I think the game theory, once you become big enough and is institutional enough, it changes it to maximize or optimize. It's like Uber saying, "Oh, we're not going to become a taxi." Well, now you are, right? You're basically a quasi taxi service.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't know if you can ever get away from that, right? And so
That makes
blockchain
sense.
is just another technology that went through that.
And makes so much sense. Like when you are part of a startup, you kind of realize like why you understand the importance of equity. You understand this idea of risk, because
Right.
everything that you join, like NS,
Yeah.
today, if you join, this is not the ideal state,
Correct.
but that's the reason why you're getting
it's-
equity.
That's right. It's the V1 and it's looking for the
Yeah.
earliest adopters.
Actually, I shouldn't be using the word equity.
Yeah.
That's the wrong word. That's the reason you get something,
Right.
this thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that is that makes so much sense. You are taking a risk. You don't know where this is going,
Right.
and you should be rewarded for that if you participate today.
Right. Yeah. And to your point, it's that was a promise of a lot of these crypto tokens, etc. It's like you get in today, you be part of the community. Same thing to your point about startups.
Yeah.
That was like the social contract for startups.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, I'm the first founding engineer. I'm like the first 10 people, and a lot of people got rewarded.
Exactly.
But on the other side, there's also lots of, of course, the failure rate in startups is quite high too.
Totally.
So
Totally.
there's a balance.
Right. Right.
So.
You gotta pick the right horse.
Yeah.
I think remains impressed by computer science elegance of blockchain and sees it a real advance, but he has never been a cheerleader. Okay, so no latest updates. All right, cool. So this next one, I think I just thought it really cool that they called
New
a
York?
modern payments company Fun, and they were able to get the Fun handle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Especially on
Have
Twitter.
you ever heard of Fun? Yeah,
No, I haven't.
this is crazy.
What do they do? It's like a fintech.
At Fun, we are building the rails that connect the world to modern capital markets.
Building those rails isn't simple. When you're powering a global financial system, that system has to work every single time. No matter how many millions of users, no matter how many different countries our product is deployed into, it's got to work. There's no downtime in it. This is a huge technical challenge to operate successfully. Challenge isn't just today's volume, it's building for a world where we're going to serve tens, hundreds, or even 1,000 times larger audience with the same quality. None of this is theoretical. The company's building at the frontier of crypto.
Do you understand anything?
I feel like it's some sort of payment system.
Yes.
Rails, I think, something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought this was really cool.
But the name is cool.
Yes,
Fun.
name is cool. Name is cool.
It should be
Name
fun
is
there.
cool. Handle is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. The trophy for the Cadillac Championship next week. The idea behind it. So this is the trophy,
Interesting.
and this is the idea.
That is pretty
Crazy.
cool. Like, oh wow.
This is really cool.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, if you just look at
And it
this, you
looks
are
so
like,
cool too.
okay, cool. But when you look at this, you're
Yeah.
like, all right.
It's almost like the Jordan version, like the Michael Jordan like logo, the Jordan logo. But you know how like there's like these phases where
Yeah.
he's like going up and
Yeah.
dunking, and
Yeah.
it's like that for golf
Yes.
almost.
Yes. No, really cool. All right. I think let's end over here. That's the
100%.
stream for today.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry. This one was very interesting. I would pay anything for a CRM that tracks cross-platform text, emails, DMs, everyone I know, and when I last talked with them. This is a thing. Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Everybody's building it, but nobody ever builds it, and
Right.
people still keep asking for it.
Yeah. There's I think like
There's
2021. There's Clay.
the most recent one that I know.
Yeah.
There is text.com,
Yeah.
which tried to just bring all your messaging
Contacts
apps in
and-
one
Yeah.
app.
Messaging. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd want that. Like.
And it's very
anymore.
interesting because if you look at the comments,
Yeah.
you know all of them. So hey
Everyone's
Knox,
shilling
I
him,
read
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I read about Micro.
Yeah.
What else? I think somebody would have tagged the founders of Clay or something. Bootstrap, Real Base, building Kinso. Yeah, Kinso would be that. You're bringing Pulsar spaces. Clay.earth.
Mhm.
Clay.earth is over here. Beeper is also a big one. Beeper is actually big. 25.4. Okay. Yeah, bought by Automatic.
Oh. okay.
Automatic is the parent company of WordPress.
Do you use any of these?
I used
You've in the
Clay.
past? Okay. How did you like it?
I used Clay. I think that's very interesting because I think if you are in crypto and if you're in BD,
Yeah.
specifically BD, you are talking to a lot of people on a lot of different platforms. If you're in BD in like some traditional SaaS company, you are mainly using email.
Correct.
Rarely you are texting someone. So Salesforce kind of works over there. But if you're in crypto, if you're in BD, things happen everywhere. And
Yeah.
every time there's a new social media trying to come up, there's Farcaster, there was Blue Sky, there are more people experimenting with new social media. So you are talking with a lot of people on a lot of different platforms and a lot of very quick conversation during conferences. So this is the reason I don't know if you've seen, like, you go to a conference and you're like, the first thing you do is you scan the QR code and then you click a selfie, because I'm gonna forget.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget your face.
Exactly.
If you just have like a NFT on top of that, I don't care how good conversation we had, I'm gonna forget your face.
Exactly.
I'm gonna forget everything. So, and it's very interesting. Even after having the selfie, sometimes I look back at my Telegram, I'm like, I don't know what I talked with this person. I have no idea. I have no idea why do I have this person. So, Clay. Yeah, again, it just feels like a lot of debt. Again, managing Clay becomes a lot of work. So that's it. And you never actually think like that, right? Like, you never actually. I think there's also a difference. Are you an operator who's just like very diligent about, okay, these are the 180 people I met at this conference, now I'm going to go back and send them a thank you message, and then again take them through my funnel of back to back, hey, keep selling my product and let's see where this thing goes.
Right.
Versus, I think I'm more on the creative side, so it's like, okay, I always kind of have like a, let's say, a big thing that I'm working towards, and I know that I only need 1 or 2 key people to take that forward.
Right.
So that is it. And
it makes sense.
If you know those key people that you need to take something forward, everyone else, it's not that it doesn't matter, but your brain is good at reducing the scope.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes a total sense.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you manage anything? Any CRM? Salesforce, HubSpot?
Yeah, I mean, in the past I just used Apollo, and then CRM wise, literally Google Sheets of the most important people. It was
crazy.
like the most simple way, because I tried HubSpot, I tried all these apps.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, I have to like continue inputting information. I'm like, and then also it depends on your TAM as well. Like, I think some of the things I worked on were like, enterprise TAM is like small, at least the ones that we're going for. And so you're talking about a TAM of like max 100, and then within that 20 are the main ones that move the markets. And so like you start to just, you can send out cold, outbound to the 100, but at the end of the day, you just need 1 out of the 20 to focus on. For some of the things. And so, yeah, I never got into the CRM. Like, I know there's another one, Folk.app, I think.
Folk.
That one is super user friendly. I know a lot of people use that.
Yeah.
Tried that, but then I was
people
like,
people create these crazy automations in Notion.
Yeah, Notion is the one. I stuck with Google Sheets, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But it's simple, free.
Makes sense. All right, that's the stream for today. We hit 1 hour 7 minutes. All right.
Oh, wow, okay.
Thanks for hopping on.
Take care, guys.